Then there's Treasure Storm, another filly. She's placed on her most recent start at Thirsk. She does have soft ground form as well. She'll handle the conditions. You can see she's quite a big girl, and Thirsk last time out was at least a step back in the right direction, and her mark has come down to 63 now, which is the lowest that it has been. Then we can see number 4, A Up It's Jazz. We saw David Nolan making his way across to talk to Connections a little bit earlier on. This is the horse I really fancy for this race today. I thought he did well at Leicester last time out when Temper Trap beat him on that occasion, but he didn't have an ideal draw. He had a bit of competition for the lead. I think there's less competition at the head of this race today, and if he can potentially get out quick like he usually does and have the run of things, I think he might be quite tough to pass. A Up It's Jazz, looking for a first win in a while, but conditions definitely suit him. We'll get a couple more. Number 7 is next, Sassoon. Only one start so far this year. That was down the field at Carlisle. The visor is refitted this afternoon. That goes back on, might have a positive effect. And then we'll see Temper Trap, who will be favourite, I think, for this race. He was a comfortable winner at that Leicester handicap from A Up It's Jazz last time out. I think the tempo of that race suited him, and he's got a good record at Leicester as well, but he's in really good form at the moment, and officially a couple of pound ahead of the handicapper under his penalty.
So they've got much clearer conditions there. I've seen the rain coming down at Haydock, but Redcar is very bright and sunny ahead of Division 1 of this Class 6 handicap. Every race live on Racing TV handicap over 7 furlongs. And I Up It's Jazz and Temper Trap are both 5-2. 9-2 from 11-2 is Phoenix Fire. Stormy Pearl 6-1. 12-1 for Sassoon. Treasure Storm is now gone 18s and on the drift from 11s. Mutanaaseq is 22-1. 33s for Vanity Pays and Scarfo. Fistral Beach is 66-1. Now gone clear favourite is I Up It's Jazz, who was last seen finishing second at Leicester on heavy ground, very heavy ground that day, Chris, and a horse who hasn't been penalised for that good run and arrives here on the same mark.
Yeah, and that Leicester form is key because he was behind Temper Trap that day. So they were first and second. Martin was making the case before racing that he felt that with a pull in the weights and a different setup of race, that he felt that form might be reversed, and I'd agree with him. Temper Trap at Leicester ended up on the right part of the track, over towards more the far side, and also the pace was quite a strong one. He managed to come from a good way back, and I Up It's Jazz, who had kind of been pestered from an early stage, managed to hang on for second, but ultimately was beat very comfortably by Temper Trap, who had dropped a long way in the weights and does love the conditions. But just because they're all going to go across that far side again, he's a horse that isn't always the best away. I think Temper Trap is going to need a little bit of a bit of luck, a bit like what we were saying about Project Dante earlier on. I Up It's Jazz might not get as much pace pressure today, handles the conditions, is on a decent mark, and he probably does look the one to beat, but Martin was making that case fairly strongly earlier. Yeah,
it certainly was. Let's head back to him now. Let's see if he still holds those words true.
Yeah, runners down at the start then ahead of this handicap. I think they're just starting to load into the stalls. I Up It's Jazz is a horse I'm quite sweet on here. I just wondered if he might be able to get an easy enough time on the front end, which didn't happen at Leicester on his most recent start. We'll talk about some of the others as well. Sassoon at a bigger price. I could see him maybe having one of his going days. The visor is refitted. He's a veteran now and he's not easy to predict, but he is a dual course winner here at Redcar in the past. He does handle slow ground well, and that visor that is refitted wasn't on at Carlisle on his belated comeback run, so maybe that will help him. The likes of Mutanaaseq and Fistral Beach would prefer a strong gallop to him, at so would Treasure Storm and probably Sassoon as well, but I'm wondering if I Up It's Jazz might be able to dominate this race from the front. He's going to be one of the last to go in.
Set a race. They're ready. And they're off. Racing over 7 furlongs for Division 1 of the Every Race live on Racing TV Handicap Stakes. Striped Jacket Stormy Pearl was away well, so too I Up It's Jazz. They're both beginning to track over towards the near side. Also prominent a little bit deeper, Fistral Beach. Meanwhile, towards the near side, under the near side rail, Temper Trap was away well with Sassoon just behind him. And Phoenix Fire is crossing over. Vanity Fair is behind the pace, followed by Scarfo, who's sitting towards the back of the field. Also well back, Mutanaaseq, and Treasure Storm is at the back of the 10-runner field. It's Temper Trap who shows the way. The yellow and white quarters to the far side. The white face of I Up It's Jazz and the striped jacket, black and white, near side of Stormy Pearl. Fistral Beach just behind them in the black and red, followed by the diamond jacket, the yellow and black of Phoenix Fire to the far side. Vanity Pays is next in the field, followed through by Scarfo. Already down towards the final 2.5 furlongs. Temper Trap to the far side of I Up It's Jazz. Kept going near side is Stormy Pearl, still 3 in line. Behind those, Vanity Pays trying to pick up from Scarfo and then trying to stay on Treasure Storm. On the far side, kept going Mutanaaseq, but inside the final furlong and a half they come now, and it's Temper Trap to the far side for David Allen. I Up It's Jazz kept going near side Stormy Pearl, but Temper Trap's in the clear as they come down towards the final half furlong. Temper Trap being driven on in front by 3 to 4 lengths to Stormy Pearl, who can't close, and Temper Trap will go on to score for Tim Easterby. Back in second, Stormy Pearl. I Up It's Jazz for third. Tight behind, Mutanaaseq finished well on the far side. Near side was Treasure Storm.
Temper Trap has followed up then under that £4 penalty for his Leicester win last time out, and it's a similarly dominant performance from him. A horse who has just come back to 7 furlongs on his last 2 starts. It certainly seemed to suit him, and very soft ground clearly suits him well also. He was under pressure a good way from home, but he does really find plenty. Now, there's a key moment here from the stalls. If you keep an eye on AO Pitts Jazz, Stormy Pearl and Callum Rodriguez decide to stare down that in a straight line, which they're entitled to do, but it stops David Nolan here, you'll notice, being able to get across towards where he wants to be through that first quarter mile of the race. Temper Trap, meanwhile, has been able to plough on that quickest part of the track, there's no doubt about that, for that first quarter mile of the race. And David Nolan's plan that he would have had to break out and get across on AO Pitts Jazz has been spoilt